Okay, so now we're going to look at multiplying and dividing radicals, okay, which is the bottom of the first page of our review sheet. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply across first. So as long as the radicals are the same radicand, it's very easy to multiply across. So that's going to be 18 x to the 4th y to the 9th with a square root symbol over it. You're probably wondering, why is it x to the 4th, y to the 9th? We have to remember that we're going to add exponents here. So now I'm going to split up the 18. That's 9 and 2, 3 and 3. I have 2 3s. I'll cross one out. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 9 divided by 2 is 4 with a remainder of 1. So I have a 3, x squared, y to the 4th, and then I have a square root of 2, y to the 1st. Now, in this problem, when I have a cube root and a square root, I'm going to make it very simple for you. We are not going to multiply if the radicands are not exactly the same. Is it possible to multiply? Yes, it is. But there's a lot of manipulation that has to go on in order to do that. So we're just going to leave it just like that. We're just going to box it up and say, I can't multiply those, Mr. Russo, you didn't show us how to. Now, square root of 25x to the 8th over 8y cubed. Well, first of all, I'm going to treat it as two different problems. 25x to the 8th in a radical, 8y cubed in a radical. I'm going to simplify the numerator to 5x to the 4th. Now at this point, I'm doing all of my simplification in my head. If you're not sure how to do that, you might want to revisit some of the previous videos. The 8y cubed is going to be 2y on the outside, square root of 2y left on the inside. Now, we know that we cannot have a radical in our denominator. So, to eliminate that, we multiply by radical 2y over radical 2y. So I multiply the denominator by that radical because radical 2y times radical 2y is going to cancel my radical in the denominator. And I can multiply by this thing because it's 1. So my numerator, I get 5x to the 4th, square root of 2y, over 2y times, well, the square root of 4y squared is just 2y again. So my final answer is 5x to the 4th, square root of 2y, over 4y squared. That's a tricky one. Take your time with it. Square root of 36 over square root of 81, well, that's just like having a square root over each. And since I can reduce it, I will. And 6 over 9 is the same thing as 2/3. Mr. Russo, couldn't you reduce from the get-go and say that 36 over 81 was the same as 4 over 9? Absolutely. So we'll get to the final answer one way or another, whichever way makes the most sense to you. And the last problem here, I'm going to reduce my fraction because that's going to make this problem easier for me. 72 divided by 2 is 36. X over x to the 7th. My rules of exponents say I have x to the 6th in the bottom. 7 minus 1 is 6 on the bottom. 9 minus 1 is 8. And that's 6 y to the 4th over x cubed. So that is all of my multiplying